What is an emergency fund? All you need to know. You may have heard of it. You may even have tried to have one yourself. An emergency fund is something of a mystery for a lot of people. It can feel impossible sometimes to figure out what it is, why you should have one, and how you might get started. Fear not, I'll give you all the information you need to get on track, start saving, and start feeling like a responsible adult. But first, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on your notifications to stay on top of all our new shows as they come out. Now, down to business. Emergency fund. An emergency fund is money you set aside for emergency purposes. Things happen. These emergencies could be anything from loss of income to unexpected expenses. You could lose your job. Your company could close. You could become temporarily disabled and out of work. You could incur medical bills. You could have home repairs. Your car could need fixing, and so much more. Any of these things happening at the last minute could put you into huge debt with high-interest credit cards or loans that will take a long time to pay off. Of course, if you have to take out loans because you have no emergency fund, it's understandable. Borrowing for emergencies rose by almost 200% last year, according to NerdWallet. You're not alone. But while you're still not in an actual emergency, if you can avoid borrowing, you should. Save yourself the stress and the money. An emergency fund offers tremendous peace of mind. How much should you save? The next obvious question is, how much? You're on board with the emergency fund. You understand its purpose, but how much should you save? The overarching, long-term goal is 6 months of expenses. You want to be prepared to fully support yourself and your family if you were to have a total loss of income for half a year. Studies show that getting a new job can take anywhere from 3 to 6 months, and the rule of thumb is that the higher your salary, the longer it takes to get a new job. So plan for 6 months if you have a good job. Still, don't stress out about slamming 6 months of expenses away overnight. Start small and set a goal. Start with $500. You will see, once you start saving, it becomes habitual. You get to $500, and suddenly you feel empowered to put away more, and then more. Before you know it, you're finding new ways to cut costs in your life and save even more. You'll get to 6 months much faster than you realize. Where do you put it? Remember, the goal for an emergency fund is that you do not touch it unless there is an emergency. But you want to have it on hand if indeed an emergency does arise. So, you should keep your emergency fund in a high-interest, easy-to-access savings account. Find the highest yield you can get without having to lock your funds up for a period of time. To start, you can check out Lending Club, which offers 0.65%, Synchrony Bank, which offers 0.60%, American Express, which offers 0.50%. Once your savings gets up into the thousands, you can look around for higher interest rates and potentially locking some of your overflow money into more long-term investments like index funds. How to get started? Start small and save in small increments. The most difficult thing to do when saving is to put aside huge chunks of money all at once. You'll always feel like you can't afford it. Sit down with your budget and decide how much you can save out of each paycheck. Cut costs where you can. Look into making your coffee at home instead of going to the drive-thru every morning. Cancel memberships you're not using. Switch from cable to streaming services. There are a ton of ways to save money that can really add up when you take a broad look at your monthly budget. It might even be in your interest to pick up a side hustle, which is enormously trendy right now, to ensure you can put away an emergency fund. Then, once you've committed, set up automatic withdrawals. If you can have direct deposit from your check into a savings account, that's the best option. You won't even notice it's gone. If you can, at the very least set up an automatic transfer from your checking to your savings every payday. Finally, revisit your budget and your account every few months. See if you have discovered new ways to save or picked up extra income so you can increase the amount you set aside each paycheck. And that's it. You've got your emergency fund. To sum up, an emergency fund is money you set aside to pay for any unexpected expenses. Keep it in a high-interest, easy-to-access savings account. Start small and set up automatic deposits or transfers to hold yourself to your commitment. You'll be so glad you did. Now, don't forget to hit like, subscribe to our channel, and turn on your notifications so you don't miss our next show. Happy saving!